Okay, so now we are going to talk about a bit Dash and how we can integrate the different components that you have seen so far, the plots, and how you can make them interactive in a way that you can somehow like slice them, modify them, and get different, let's say, views of your own data. So here, for example, what we need first is to import the data. So this is only data that we are creating here. What, of course, we are going to need to upload or import the libraries. Then we create the data, and this is the data that we are seeing here. Then you see that this is a really big data set. Here we have 21 columns that we need to process. And this is something that for first that I want to highlight is that we usually, or we could have data like split in different data frames or different sources, because a dashboard has different components. But ideally, you need the data in a single data frame. This is really important because, as Wandrille said before, with Dash, we are performing some calculations on the fly. So please keep that in mind, because from my experience, I can tell you, and I will show you a bit later on with my dashboard, that Dash is made or developed to be hosted with your computer or in a server, but it's somehow like alive. So this is important to keep in mind, that each time you run or you visualize, it's going to perform calculations. Okay. So here what we are seeing is some data. For example, we can check for the canton. We can check the name of the canton. We are seeing data about the language that is spoken, and sorry, the cantons that we have. And then now here, after we import the data, what we need first is how we establish the dashboard. So that's what we are seeing here. The layout, it's how the dashboard is going to look. For this, you can select or you can start from scratch, but there are also some templates that you can use. And well, something that I didn't mention at the beginning is that Dash is, or well, Plotly actually is built on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So there will be many things that are controlled through HTML or CSS component. As you can see here, for example, it allows to enter and to use all of the, I mean, if you know something about HTML, then you can rely on this knowledge that you already have to start building the dashboard, because it's not going to be so different. It's just a matter of align it with the with how you want it to look, and then you can build on top of that. And now you will see that there will be many other components that you can call, which are called DCC or DBC, that are going to have drop downs, sliders, somehow the same components that you saw before, but now are integrated as separate components that you can call and that you can control independently. This means that you don't have to create the plot or the graph to use the component. You can control them independently. That's what you are seeing here. This is the second part. So first, we need the data that we are calling from here, as we did before. The layout, the way in which we organize or how the dashboard is going to be displayed. And then we need the functions that are going to update the dashboard. So this is what we are seeing here. So for example, this is really important. This is what we call in Python decorators. So this is like a general or common structure that you will see everywhere. And then you have to specify what is going to be the input for the function and the output, what you are going to get from the function. Well, most of the time, what you are going to get is a figure that is going to be rendered here. So this is important to highlight, that this is going to connect here the ID is connecting what you get from the function here with the callback and what is going to be displayed. So you can think of this as it's like an empty plot that each time that you render the dashboard is going to be updated with the data or with the plot that is being generated here. So for example, here we perform a slice of the data frame, and now we create an histogram here with this as we did previously. So this is not going to change. So this is building on top of the Plotly regular syntax, and then of course the updating to perform some tweaking. And at the end, this is also quite regular. This will be, you will see it almost all the time. That it's just because since, as I told you before, this is going to be running on your computer, or if you host it elsewhere, you have to specify where it is going to be run. And here also we have this part here, the debug, is that if you want to perform changes on the app, and then they are going to be rendered right away. So we can just run this one. Sorry, no module. Okay, I'm sorry for that. I think it's because I changed the computer. I am using my local computer, and I had it on my on the other computer. So I'm starting quickly dash.
Okay, let's go. All right, so let me just run that. And there we go. Okay. Oh, sorry, I went a bit too fast. I went a bit too fast, so let me actually get that one. And then yeah. So you'll see there is a little bit of sometimes of playing around, because what we do, especially when we try and run these apps inside the notebooks, we need to start the server that serves these inside the notebook, and it has difficulty running several at once. There we go. Okay, so you see now the first one. So this is my layout. This is my update graph, and now you see I need to run an actual server. So the figure is not a static figure that can then is just a fixed file, but it's actually something that needs to be served so that it can be interactive there. And so you see this relatively here simple plot. That's a histogram served by Plotly. Okay, it works like a Plotly histogram. You can zoom in out and so on and so forth. But then we have this element there that is this drop down coming from here. And now you see that I can just change something. And when I do that, now the one here, the plot is updated. Okay, and because each time I changed, I call it, you see, I call this update graph callback. There, you see how we make the link here. And now the histogram is generated after doing this selection there. So the actual Python code is run. All right. So that's our basic thing. And from there, most, let's say, complex example flow. So we can go toward more and more important things. So there's one thing still I want to show. You see here, this little thing gives me some information. Let me know if there is error. What is nice also to look at is here this callback graph. So I can see here that I have my drop-down selection providing a value informing the figure, the graph content, the figure of the graph content element. So here it's extremely simple, right? I have one drop-down, one figure, but you can imagine that when you start to have many, having this little graph here can be nice. So here's a slightly more complex example. I read the data, create my layout, okay, a title, another little div element where I put a drop down, okay, and here my another drop down, okay, and then my graph content there. And then you see my callback is linked now to several input value and one output. Okay, So I get a canton selection and color selection. And then if I run this thing, right, there we go. You see that I now have the two, and the two come here, and one is for the selection, one is for just the color that we have there. Okay, so that I can change to Zug and then change the color to gray, and that's about it. But what you can see is that indeed now my callback have both the content and color selection. Okay, so from there, multiple inputs. So you can imagine that here it's again super simple and silly, but you can have all sorts of input and output to make your figure and the different elements in your dashboard interact as much as you need. And so from there, a little bit of work from your part. So please modify the app above so that there is a radio items. So a little selector that lets you choose if you want to be in a linear and a log scale. And so for that, the idea of this exercise is to get you to use a little bit this help page from Dash. Again, their help page is relatively well made, so it's useful to go there and have a look and see how it works, because we are not going to go through the whole catalog of everything you see, everything that they propose here, all the kind of element, the core component that they propose here. We can't go through them all. So it's better if you see a little bit how their help works and how you can use it, because then you can explore on your own and tweak and make everything that you want from there. So let's say a good 5 minute, 10 minute for this exercise, and then we are going to correct it.
Okay, so what we have here is we need to show, or we need to provide options with one of the many or several components that are available through DCC or DVC. So here we are using radio items. So as you can see here in the layout, what we have to do is to create the component with DCC radio items, and then you provide the options, and then you provide the default, and then how you want it to look, if it's inline or you want it one after the other. And then it's really important to provide the ID, because with the ID, it's how you are going to control the plot or what is going to be displayed. So here, as we are controlling with the scale selection with the radio item, so when we create the callback here, as you can see, it's going to have the input coming from the radio items. So from this way, it is going to be constantly interacting. So this is, again, I want to stress this out, that this is like a live app that is going to be updated each time you change something. So that's why it is important to maintain or to have it hosted at some place, either locally or with a server. Now, if we run this one, so now we are going to see the radio items, and then they are going to modify. So again, each time we change the selection, it is going to update the graph. And so somehow it's like each time you are getting a different graph, a different figure when it is updated coming from the selection. Is that clear? That is really important, because this is basically the main the core, the heart of Dash, how it interacts between the layout and the function with the callback, or that the function that control the callback. Okay, so now we can move on a bit, and yeah, now it's a matter of how you want your dashboard to look like, how you can control the elements are being displayed. So we can move a bit more. And now there are many options to control the layout. So for example, here, now we talk about the layout. So we have different, or if you know HTML or you have worked with HTML, so you can do it on your own. You can use Bootstrap or Dash components, or you can use Dash Design Kit. This design kit is somehow like a paid version. And for this is important to keep in mind, because at the end of the day, I'm going to show you an application that it's AI based, provided by Plotly, and then we have to take care when we use this design kit to use or to create components. So please keep that in mind. So for example, here when we call the DVC component, so we can you can think of that the dashboard is going to be like a grid where you can place columns and rows. And then in each column or each row, you are going to have the component that you want. So for example, here we show how it can be organized. So first we can organize a row, and then we create another row, but then this row is going to be divided into columns. So if we run, for example, this one, what we are seeing is one row here that is going to have only one column, and then another one one row where we will have different columns. So you can control this, as I said before, through the components that Dash has natively, or through HTML. It's up to you how you want it to control it. This depends, or this relies mainly on how you feel. But let me tell you, and I'm going to show a bit afterward, that when you control it with HTML, it gets a bit messy, because you have to do it each one by one. So it's a matter of how a bit of the how your code will start to look like, and then you will feel a bit overwhelmed, or at least in my case, it's how I felt when I was developing my own dashboard. Is that clear? Okay. Or any question? No. Okay. So yeah, there are many other things that we can control. Yeah. For example, here we can use a different theme. Yeah. This one here we can call or we can select how it's going to look like. For example, we can use here themes Bootstrap, and then you see now before we had it only out here because it's using the same. This is important here if we want to run it in a different or we want to keep all of them running. So we will have to change the host here. But keep in mind that this is going to start creating many different applications that are going to like overload your system. So keep in mind that. So you see that all of them are now displaying the, oh well, not this one, but all of them should be displaying all of the same thing because they have the same host. But if you use many or multiple, so it is going to consume resources, and then you may overload your system. Okay. So now, yeah, we can also, yeah, with this we will have nested elements. We can have, we can control the width, we can control the length. There are many, or we can control everything within the layout. Yeah, for example, here we can run another one again, and then you will see that, yeah, you can, it's basically up to you how you want it to look like. And again, you can use DVC and or HTML components. Okay, so now there is a short exercise, and it's to modify the app that you have, and then want to have one big column, the drop-down menu, and the radio in a smaller column beside. So this is for you to try and to test how you can organize or how you can arrange the different components of the dashboard. To reorganize how the items are displayed in the layout. So here, for example, now we are using or we are combining HTML with Dash components. So in this case, to what is it? Oh yeah, here. But yeah, it's mine. I don't know. My system is working a bit weird because this this one should be placed differently, but it's okay. Now, the purpose of this exercise is to show you that you can control the different elements, so you can even combine them, and then again you can just link them, and then with each callback they are going to be changed. So again, you can see that now they are in a different layout, so you are controlling with the same items, the same components, but what we are changing, or what we are looking for to change, is the layout. Okay, so it's a matter of going into the documentation to check what other components are available and how you can add them into the grid, if you can think of this as a grid, and then where you can place them. Yeah, here now, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you see, it keeps showing the same in every cell. I don't know why. Oh yeah, that's why I wasn't seeing it properly. Maybe now it should display. Yeah, this is what I was saying, that it should be like in different organization. Now with the now you can see that to provide the option for the drop down, you can directly take the information from the data, and then always control by the ID. You can do this here, to slice or to select the options that are going to be displayed, or you can do it like beforehand, and then you can place here the options. It's up to you, but this is going to be, if you modify the data, then dynamically it is going to change the options that are available in the drop-down menu, okay? So yeah, that's why it is going to show them, all of them, and then if you modify the data, dynamically they are going to change, okay? So finally, we have, there are many other, as you can see, this is all about interactivity and how we can control it and how we can interact with the data. So it's also possible to capture data from the hovering. When we move the mouse, or when we click, when we select, we can capture this data, and then we can reuse it for different purposes. If we want to extract data about how the user behaves or where they are focused within the app, this is also possible. So here, what you are going to see is that you can combine many functions that will have a callback, or that are going to capture different movement, different data according to what you do within the dashboard. So let's see if it's override here. Yes, it's override. So for example, now it's going for this. Here there are created many functions that are capturing different data from the movement of the mouse or when you click. But then you will see that they will have, what it's changing. It's here you will see that it has again the input and the output, and then it will have hover data, click data, which will be the output, and then you will have the data that is coming from the movement of the mouse. So for example, here when we do the hover, what we see, or we had before from the what we know from Plotly, the data that is showing right there. But then you can capture some other data. As you can see here, it's being displayed what is happening inside the plot. So if you, for example, select this, now it is going to show you it should show you when you do the zoom and the real layout, it's going to show you what you have done. And then also, well, we can reset the plot. Then if we click, it should show the click data. Oh yeah, now you will see all of the data that we are capturing. So for example, if you have an application that you would like to know where people are focusing, or where they are trying to dig into the data, then you can capture this information and then reuse it. You can store it as a data frame or as another file, and then you can reuse it. Or even you can use it to redirect the dashboard to show another plot or another figure. So it's another way to interact with the dashboard and to modify it. Okay, so that's well. In now for the regards of the dashboard, there are many things that you can do, but of course, if we decided to cover all of it, it will take more than one day because there are many things, many components that you can use or that you can incorporate into the dashboard.